Steven Spielberg is one of my favorite directors of all time, which is probably not a shock to anyone. He is undoubtedly one of the GOATs, and arguably his most influential film of all time is Jurassic Park. Now, Jurassic Park eventually went on to become a massive multi-billion-dollar film franchise with vast expansive lore, but it all started with a quite philosophical film built on the concept of humans trying to play God and control what can never be controlled. And we of course get this concept explored thoroughly throughout the first film, most prominently highlighted by Ian Malcolm when he says, "Listen, if there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and it crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously. I'm simply saying that life, finds a way." Now, I truly think that the opening sequence of this movie gets far too overlooked because it subtly tells us everything we need to know about the film and explains this deep philosophical concept in just the matter of a few minutes long before Ian Malcolm spelled it out for us. And believe it or not, the beautiful symbolism of this opening sequence begins with the title reveal before we even get a single shot of the film. You see, the font used to spell out Jurassic Park is multicolored with a thin red line surrounded by a thick yellowish outline, but when the title fades, the outline fades first, leaving us very briefly with just the red lines that used to be in the center of each letter. And I think this is very, very subtly serving as a metaphor for what is going to happen in this film. The Jurassic Park is in essence the yellow outline here because it will eventually be broken, and the dinosaurs, the red lines in this instance, will roam free. And if you pause the fade right when the outline is gone and just the red is showing, it just looks super ominous. Something dark is for sure being foreshadowed here. We start the actual opening scene with a few shots of jungle foliage rustling, which gives off the sense that something predatory is lurking. And we intercut these rustling shots with close-ups of some Jurassic Park workers looking very intimidated and on edge. And this does a great job of building tension. We don't know what's moving through the jungle at this point, but whatever it is, it's clearly not to be taken lightly. After we're about 30 seconds or so into this opening sequence, it's revealed that this creature is not even on the loose, but rather in a metal crate. And this is so brilliant because this metal crate that this dinosaur is trapped in is a microcosm for the entire film. Hammond is trying to trap these dinosaurs into a theme park to serve as a massive spectacle, but trying to control them in this way is just not possible. The laws of nature will simply not allow it. And this is why things go very, very wrong in this scene. What appears to be a rather straightforward transfer becomes utter chaos when this dinosaur attempts to break free. One worker gets dragged and raised up in the air as if he were a rag doll. A bunch of other workers are running around trying to prod and electrocute the dinosaur in the crate. This is mayhem, and these workers, despite the fact that there's well over a dozen of them, do not have control of the situation, just the same as they will eventually fail to control the park as a whole. And another key aspect of the tension and horror of this scene is the fact that we don't ever get a good look at the velociraptor. And Steven Spielberg really revolutionized the whole "the less you see of the monster, the scarier it gets" idea with his film Jaws, and he is certainly carrying on that concept here. We really only catch slight glimpses of this raptor, beautifully illuminated by the electricity of the cattle prods, and very briefly we lock eyes with this beast towards the end. And this of course does make the velociraptor even scarier, but it also creates some nice symbolism. It's almost as if Spielberg is trying to convey that these workers lack the ability to perceive and comprehend this creature. They can't see or control it because they fail to respect what it is, and are afraid of it. This dinosaur is an absolute killing machine that far supersedes humans on the food chain. And if Hammond and crew did respect it, they wouldn't have worked so hard to revive it, and for damn sure would not be trying to put it in an amusement park. If something is so dangerous that you need 20 goons with cattle prods to merely attempt to contain it, then perhaps it did not belong in the container you're attempting to place it in the first place. We end this incredible sequence with the leader of these men trying to hold the guy that got captured by the raptor, and you can just tell he is trying his absolute best to not let him get eaten by this thing. I mean, he's gritting his teeth and holding on for dear life. but it doesn't matter, his worker gets pulled through his hands all the same. And ending on this note is so brilliant because it really captures just how hopeless humans are to stop these creatures, which of course creates great stakes for the film, but also captures the themes of the entire movie in just the span of a few minutes. And it's especially great that the only person in this opening scene who seemed to truly understand what they were dealing with is the one who fails to save this man. Because this also reinforces that even if you do take all the precautions in the world, life will still find a way. Well, if you made it this far, please let me know in the comments, what's your favorite opening scene of all time? You know, a scene that just completely invested you full force into the film you were watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to drop a like or subscribe for more Screen Stories content. Until next time, peace.